It's interesting. About maybe 6 months ago, I said Shohei Ohtani is significantly better than Babe Ruth. Most people got it. But you think of big Babe Ruth, big-chested. Shohei Ohtani is actually bigger and actually built. He is not just the best player in the game. There's nothing really to compare him to. He would be like if Bob Gibson and Ted Williams morphed. It's like Mookie Betts and Verlander in his prime morphed. There's nothing like him. Babe Ruth quit pitching at 24 years old mostly. Shohei Ohtani is 28. He's just starting. He's going to get a $600 million contract. You can absolutely validate $250 million as a pitcher and $350 million as a hitter. The game now is global. He is significantly better than virtually every hitter and every pitcher. Last couple of years, he's top 3 in jacks. Last couple of years, he's top 3 in ERA. Oh, he also runs really, really well. He's everything. What do you compare it to? It's as if Patrick Mahomes and Sauce Gardner were one guy. And that's seriously what it's like. It would be like if Patrick Mahomes also played corner. He didn't go to the sidelines. He just went to the other side and was arguably the best shutdown corner in the league. And the Dodgers, this is where Shohei Ohtani is going to end up. He's now with the Angels. He's going to go to the Dodgers. They let Justin Turner go and Trey Turner go and Cody Bellinger go, and they signed their payroll now is only 5th. They easily outdraw the rest of baseball. Nobody's even close. They draw 10,000 more a game than everybody else. And this kid, 62 million people watched in Japan for one of the games. He has massive drawing power. It's when A-Rod went to the Yankees, it wasn't about selling out the stadium on Friday and Saturday. It was about getting people to a Yankee game, filling out the stadium on a Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Thursday. And the Dodgers, again, that place is packed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and some Sunday afternoon games. He'll sell out the Mondays and Tuesdays or get them real close to it. And they already blow everybody away. So they have moved off some payroll. They're going to pay $550 to $600 million for Shohei Ohtani. It's just really remarkable what he does. There's nothing that really compares to it. Whenever I hear baseball, people romanticize about the past. It wasn't a global game. NBA, but it's not just baseball. NBA diehards. Oh, I just roll my eyes at it. The Knicks, the Pacers. What an Eastern Conference Finals. 7 of the 10 starters couldn't shoot an 18-foot jumper. Very few guys could handle the ball. John Starks, the best guard for the Knicks, couldn't shoot. The game is so much better now in the NBA. The skill level's 1,000 times better. It's so much more international. And so is baseball. Everybody dials into the 90s now. Everybody pitches 90s. A lot of guys pitch in the mid-90s. Everybody has some power. I can remember years ago in the mid-'70s, there was a baseball team, the Cincinnati Reds. They had Johnny Bench and Tony Perez and Pete Rose and Joe Morgan and George Foster, and they were the big red machine. They had 3 guys in that lineup, well, actually 4 if you count the pitcher, who couldn't hit home runs. Dave Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo, Pete Rose didn't hit homers, and neither did the pitchers. So like 40% of the lineup couldn't hit jacks. I mean, what Ohtani is doing, it just doesn't even make any sense at all. He's dominating a sport that is now global. Everybody throws in the mid-90s. Everybody can hit, it feels like, for some power. And he's dominating on both sides. He will draw for the Dodgers. He'll get $550 million. You can see him pulling back on payroll, and he'll be worth every penny. Shohei Ohtani, congrats to Japan. So I thought this was an interesting story. You know how sometimes, I always felt this way with Chris Paul, is that in his prime, Chris Paul with the Clippers or the Rockets or even the Suns, if you added Chris Paul to your team, he solved a lot of issues. You'd have more maturity. You'd have a distributor. You'd have an on-court coach leader. He could give you 17 points. He could defend. He could do so many things, one player. He could solve your issues. When he went to Phoenix, they were a young team with talent but no maturity. Solved that. They weren't good enough defensively. Solved that. They didn't really have a true leader. Solved that. Chris Paul's always been great about that. I mean, what happened to Blake Griffin post Chris Paul or DeAndre Ayton? Like, he was their leader. He elevated everybody. There are these certain players that can solve multiple issues. He was perfect in Phoenix. Even the good Houston team he went to got better by 10 games, although he and Harden didn't work. So there's a story out today about Lamar Jackson is just like done with Baltimore. So he's not going to be unemployed, right? He's too talented. He's won like 75% of his games. And I thought to myself, kind of the Chris Paul feel, wouldn't he be perfect in New England? I mean, we know their defense is good. We know their coach is good. Their owner's stable. Special teams are excellent. What do they miss? They don't have any playmakers. They're slow. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, and I'm pretty sure he will, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Tua and that head coach. Did you watch the Super Bowl, Mr. Belichick? Like, it's over. The Niners, the Eagles defense could not slow down Patrick Mahomes in the second half. The game has changed. The best coaches are offensive coaches. It's Kyle Shanahan, it's McVay, it's Andy Reid. Sean Payton just got a boatload of money to fix Denver. Lamar Jackson's perfect in New England. They're not good at offense. They can't draft offense. I looked at a list this morning of the last receivers that New England has drafted. I think it was, the Patriots wide receiver draft pick since 2010. I won't read all of them for our radio audience. It's unbelievable how bad they are. There's not a star in the mix. There's almost not a player in the mix. They can't draft offense. The last offensive player they drafted was a Pro Bowler, I think was Gronk. He's now retired. They put a DC at OC. The top offensive coordinators, are they even interested in the job there? Like, they've got a hole in the organization. They don't know offense. They don't have touch for it, a feel for it, a sensibility for it. And when Brady left and Josh McDaniel left, it got really bad really fast. They can't get Josh Allen off the field. They'd have to get through Burrow and Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's your Chris Paul. He gives you a dynamic playmaker, massive speed, the only two things you're missing. And oh, by the way, you move Mac Jones. I know he's got a ceiling, but Mac Jones got to a playoff, I think as a rookie, didn't he? You can't tell me there's not a market. There's not a market for Mac Jones. There's a market for Jimmy Garoppolo, and he can't stay healthy. There's a market for everybody. I mean, Baker Mayfield's still getting offers for starting jobs. Mitch Trubisky, Steelers thought he would start for the year. Mac Jones wouldn't. He's cheap. He's accurate. Smart kid, got somebody to the playoffs. But to me, when I look at New England, you have to acknowledge what you are and what you're not. They don't do offense well. Brady, I mean, he was Bondo. He was a Band-Aid. He solved a lot of their issues. He left, they weren't the same. McDaniel left after Brady left, it's a disaster. They're not fast, and they got no playmakers, and they clearly can't draft them. Go sign the quarterback playmaker in the league. Somebody will give you a third for Mac Jones, maybe a second. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.